Y'all ready to upgrade? All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me. I know there's many folks out there that you could trust with the facilitation of your cosmic ascension. And I appreciate you coming my way and joining in this great game, this play, this creative, collective endeavor with me. So I only actually recently heard about the sort of auspicious time that's upon us a couple days ago. I started getting text messages from people saying, like, where are you going to be at 7:45 Pacific time on, what day is it? Saturday? On Saturday. Oh, thanks, Sean. Appreciate you. Yeah. Thanks for the shout out, Joe. And I looked around and tried to poke around and see people that might be facilitating a group meditation like this, and I didn't see too many. So I figured it was an opportunity to rise to the occasion and do what I could to facilitate. I know, there's instructions for meditation, but if you're like me, it's nice to get to kind of surrender and be guided through these processes that can be a little elusive. Cool. I'm really grateful that you guys are here joining me. I don't, I never take it lightly that there are eyes directed in my direction for the purpose of kind of guiding thought and awareness. So thank you for trusting in me, and thank you for choosing to be here with me. So our meditation is to begin right at 7:45 Pacific. I'm in California. And I want to just do a little kind of pre-show here and share some of what I've learned over the last number of years that might contribute to the meaningful opportunity that we have together. And then I'm going to invite my friend Flavia on in a few minutes, who is way more versed in the realm of kind of cosmic activity and astrology, to share some of what makes this time indeed potent and opportunistic, so to speak. There's a book that I was fortunate enough to find a few years back by an author who I absolutely love. His name's Dr. Joe Dispenza. I know this is backwards, but it says Becoming Supernatural. And one of the chapters in this book that caught my eye and that really was resonant for me was the final chapter in this book entitled Project Coherence. It says Making a Better World. If you're anything like me, empath that I am, as meaningful as it is to kind of dive into our own personal practices that help keep us tuned up and vibrant and alert, it can sometimes feel a little self-indulgent when we look at the world around us and realize there's so much work to be done to help anchor in and usher in the potential that we all have to live in, to live in paradise. I mean, I believe that we have the resources available to us to distribute evenly amongst us the things that we all need to thrive. It breaks my heart often when I look out into the world and see how we've been fed this myth that there's a shortage, that there's a lack, when so much of that power and opportunity and resource is sort of concentrated in overinflated segments of our society. We're experiencing that in a very potent way right now as many people are going without, while others are sort of flexing their power and their authority. And this isn't a new paradigm that we are experiencing. This is something that's been going on for some time now. So what really resonated with me about this chapter in the book is that in it, Dr. Dispenza discusses kind of the science behind mass meditation and what can happen when large swaths of people come together and unite their awareness, their consciousness, their intention around common goal or common vision. And that's what we're doing here right now. There's, as far as what type of meditation should we be going for when we do this? I'm going to lead you through the meditation. I'll give you a little information on what will inform it. So my understanding is that there's, potentially, hopefully, 1 million plus people joining us at this time in about 10 minutes to begin the meditation. So again, thanks for joining me and kind of coalescing in our little pockets of the world to contribute to this common intent. So I'm going to read you just the first page and a half from this chapter. I think it provides some interesting food for thought. It says, we are living in a time of extremes, and these extremes are both a reflection of an old consciousness that can no longer survive and a future consciousness in which planet Earth herself and all of us on Earth are transforming. This old consciousness is driven by survival emotions like hatred, violence, prejudice, anger, fear, suffering, competition, and pain. Emotions that serve to seduce us into believing that we're separate from one another. The illusion of separation taxes and divides individuals, communities, societies, countries, and Mother Nature herself. The mindlessness, carelessness, greed, and disrespect of humanity, of human activity rather, is threatening life as we know it. By pure logic and reason, this type of consciousness cannot sustain itself for much longer. Because everything is moving toward extreme polarities, undeniably many of the current systems, whether political, economic, religious, cultural, educational, medical, or environmental, are being pulled apart as antiquated paradigms collapse. We can see this most prominently in journalism, where no one knows what to believe anymore. Some of these changes reflect people's choices, while others reflect increasing levels of personal awareness. One thing is apparent, however, in this age of information, everything that's not in alignment with the evolution of this new consciousness is coming to the surface. If you aren't aware that there's an increase in frequency and energy occurring at this time, an increase in anxiety, tension, and passion, then you might not be paying attention to your own state of being and mankind's interconnectedness to this energy. In addition to the upheavals in our highly charged political, social, economic, and personal environments, many people also feel as if time is speeding up, or that more momentous happenings are occurring in a shorter amount of time. Depending on your outlook, this could either be an exciting time of awakening or an anxiety-inducing moment in history. Regardless, the old must fall away or break down so that something more functional can emerge in its place. This is how people, species, consciousness, and even the planet itself evolve. This excitement and energy both within humans and nature begs several questions. Could greater influences be at play that are affecting mankind's correlation to violence, war, crime, and terrorism? And conversely, peace, unity, coherence, and love. And is there a reason why all of this is happening at this particular time? Joe Dispenza goes on to share some of the history of peace gatherings, global peace gatherings, and their correlation to kind of significant shifts in mass events that were occurring at the time. Of course, we're experiencing one of those right now. That's why we're here. He talks about the Earth's relationship and solar cycles, basically how we are all electromagnetic fields of information, of light and possibility and consciousness, including our planet itself, including our sun. And so, when we are confined access to the tools that help to tune us to the different frequencies that we wish to both receive and emit, we can enact more and more of our power. And when we do that in concert with one another, our power becomes exponentially greater. He also talks a bit about what's called the Schumann resonance, which is the frequency that the Earth's ionosphere, the ionosphere is the field through which information travels. It's how you're seeing my face right now. Through Wi-Fi signals, through your phone, actually has a natural frequency that can be heard or somewhat received when we're in concert with nature. So when we live our lives isolated and insulated from nature, we start to lose that frequency or our ability to receive that wavelength, which can contribute to disruptions in our circadian rhythms and our natural rhythms of well-being. That's why yogis chant the sound Om, one of the reasons. And he goes on to discuss the concept of coherence, which really relates in large part to our heart field and the vibrations, the frequency, the pulsations that are emitted from our heart. And when we can entrain coherent frequencies in our heart field, that coherence can resonate throughout our entire biofield, electro-biofield, and can actually have the potential of influencing matter as opposed to us being influenced by the circumstances around us. So the meditation that we're going to do tonight is primarily focused on entraining coherent patterns within our heart, connecting that to the collective hearts around us and around the globe, and then anchoring that into the planet itself and sort of like a brilliant antenna receiving the cosmic lights that are shining upon us at the moment, which I'm going to bring my friend Flavia on to discuss just a little bit. We have just about 5 minutes, so she'll give us sort of a a teaser, and then if you stick around afterwards, we're going to sit for about 20 minutes. We'll continue the conversation after the meditation. Mom.
Hey there. Thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this.
For sure. I wouldn't enter the fifth dimension without you.
Never.
Very
Yeah, let me just hurry up and say all this before we get started. I know I have like 5 minutes. So, first, I want to say that today is 4/4/2020, and if you break down 2020, that becomes 4. So it's a 4/4/4 portal. 4 in numerology is a number of structure and wholeness, okay? And if you break it down even further, 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12 equals 3. And 3 is about coming together and being small pieces becoming whole. So it's a beautiful day to be doing this. We've basically come to a stargate. We're at a portal where a lot of light is going to shine down onto us, and we can either receive it or not. So another thing to discuss is that Jupiter is conjunct Pluto today at 24 degrees Capricorn, and that Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, so that deals with structure and karma. So there's a lot going on today, and this is a perfect time for us all to come together and envision how we want our future to be. So that's the summation and the quick breakdown of what today represents. It's a time to shift. This is all about massive transformation, co-creation. It's a great awakening. It's a global reset, basically. Mama Earth came home. She came home to a mess. She sent everyone to their rooms to think about what they've done, and she set the reset button on Earth. So it's a big, huge cleaning. It's a huge, massive transformation. What's going on. It's a beautiful time. So
beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to this meditation, and thank you for everyone for being a part of it. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I will, as I said, I'll keep the live open at the end, and if you have anything else that you want to share, feel free to request.
Yeah, definitely. I do have a lot more to say on the topic, but I knew I had to hurry up and get
I
it
know
all.
there's a lot to say, and there's a lot of kind of rabbit holes to dive into as it relates to all this. Many are of interest, and well, they're all of interest to at least explore a little bit. So we'll stick around and chat more about what's going on. Okay.
Love you.
Mm-hmm.
Love you.
All right, so we're going to start here in just about a minute. For these meditations, it is a global event, yes. For our meditation practice, there's lots of different techniques. And what's really important, I was talking with my friend Justin just yesterday on my morning live stream, and he was sharing that what's really important when we meditate is that we're comfortable. If we're distracted by our bodies, and if we're distracted by discomfort, it can disrupt what it is we're attempting to do here, which is to co-create with the fabrics of the universe. So place yourself into a comfortable position, if that's upright, if that's leaning against a wall, wherever that may be. And I'll invite you to close your eyes. And for whatever reason, if meditation is new to you and closing your eyes feels a little vulnerable, you can keep your eyes open. Just maybe dim the lights and sort of soften your eyes so they're neither actively open or actively closed. And continuously endeared, baffled, amused, grateful by this paradox of our isolation and our interconnectedness, which is being facilitated via the ionosphere, via these internet signals that connect us. But we have the possibility of connecting sans digital technology with the technology of our hearts. So with your eyes closed, right into the center of your chest, take a deep breath in, breathe into your heart. And breathe out from your heart. Exhale through your mouth. Again, inhale. And open your mouth, exhale. And consider that you're doing this right now with thousands, maybe even millions of others around the planet. Let's collectively inhale. And open your mouth and exhale. And I'll ask you to place your right hand over your heart. If you'd like, you can place your left hand over your right. And just take a few moments to feel that pulsation. In Sanskrit, it's called spanda. It's the rhythmic sort of thumping of the universe that expands and contracts. It manifests in the macro as our universe continues to become more and settles into what it's become. And in the micro, not just in our heart, but in our cells, in the vibrations that make up the cells of our body and the light that we are. So feel that in your heart. This concept of coherence can be observed when, it's said if you place a whole bunch of grandfather clocks in the same room that are ticking, after a period of time, they will all start to tick in unison with each other. Just the frequency of that sort of metronome swinging back and forth starts to emit measurable frequencies that affect the matter around them. Similar phenomena can be experienced when large groups of women are together for extended periods of time, and their hormonal cycles start to fall in sync with one another. There are innumerable examples of how the rhythms of our body can be received and be of influence when we come together. So right now, with all of us feeling the beating of our heart, let's see if we can entrain a coherent signal into our heart, into our hearts, that can connect simultaneously to those around the world who are joining us in this moment. So as you breathe, just softly breathe in and out through your nose. It doesn't have to be a forced breath. You might gently encourage a slightly longer inhale and exhale. And as you breathe, have the sense that your breath could pass into and through your heart. And as you breathe out, that breath moves back through and out from your heart. It's a simple enough endeavor. It can be quite potent in not just in training coherent frequency in our heart, but bringing the supercomputer that is our brain in on that resonance. So our heart and our brain start to work in unison via our breath. So maybe you imagine your breath like water pouring out of a pitcher. As you breathe in, it floods in through your nose and down from top to bottom, pouring over your heart. And And as you breathe out, like almost a straw, that breath draws up, out through your heart and out through your nose. You might even imagine that breath energetically like a strand of light, if you are a visual person, a strand of golden light that moves through the crown of your head and down past your heart, through your heart, towards your pelvis, and back up and out from your pelvis, through your heart, through the crown of your head as you breathe out. In either case, feel the breeze of your breath blowing past and through your heart as you inhale and exhale. And the times that are upon us, as Dr. Dispenza says in the book, can either be exciting times, ripe with the potential of awakening, or anxiety-inducing times. And it's through the potency of our heart that we can pierce through the confusion and the noise and actually see the truth and enact the power that we have. Our brains are programmed to keep us safe, to respond to danger, and to problem solve. And while there may be a time for that, when that supercomputer is dominant, the power of the heart can start to take a back seat. So here we're letting the heart lead and the brain follows. And with your eyes closed still, gazing at the back of your eyelids, note what you see on the back of your eyelids, this infinite sea of blackness. It's not black like a blockage, it's expansive. It's a field that goes on forever in all directions. And in that field of infinite, potent blackness, feel the energy field that you are emanating like the flame of a candle, an orb of light, illuminating this sea of the infinite. And as your breath moves in and out like a cosmic jellyfish, your light increases and softens and dances in the darkness. And now consider that all around this planet are other flickering lights. If you've ever been to a concert where everyone holds up their phone or lights a lighter, sort of have that visual of a sea of flickering lights in the darkness, all emanating their own frequency, illuminating the space around them. And as you breathe, imagine that the rhythm of your breath was in unison with the rhythm of all of those flickering lights. Like the dancing of a great coordinated orchestra of illuminated jellyfish. Now consider that what unites all of us, beyond the familiarity of our light, is the home on which we live, this planet. Mother. In the theory of subtle body, we talk about the chakra system. Chakra means vortex, these wheels of light, of information, of intelligence that not just spin throughout us, but ultimately it's the spinning of the chakras that organizes the light that ultimately becomes us. We live on a massive, perhaps the biggest collectively of the chakras, this spinning field of information that we call our home, our planet. So feel that, feel the spinning chakra that we all live on, in its vibrancy, in its beauty, in its complexity, its dynamism, its mystery, and its order. And can you drop your attention, your awareness down into the nucleus of that chakra, the center of the earth, the core? And just like the center of your chakras that run up the great center column of your body, Sushumna, from the floor of your pelvis to the crown of your head, it's the seed in the center of those chakras that ultimately concentrically expands to become you. So bring your attention into the seed of the earth, the center, the core. And if that seed were to grow from the center through the various layers of earth as a strand of light, ultimately that strand of light would make its way to you, sitting on the earth. And that strand of light could draw up your center column of information, your spinal cord, and the intelligence that organizes as your spinal cord, right into that space behind your hand, in the center of your chest, your heart. So can you connect your light, the light of your heart, to the light at the core of our earth? If you wish to lower your hand at any point, you can. So from that seed, these roots of light grow out through the layers of the earth and find their way into all of these kindred beings of light. And as the branches from this trunk that you are start to grow, they branch out and spread from your heart, from your head, from your arms, from your shoulders, from your spine, and find their way out into our cosmos, into our solar system. And can you connect that light from the core of the earth through you all the way up to our cosmic, to our sun? The sun that shines its light back upon us. And as the sun shines its light on us and receives our light, the light of the earth, through us, that sun then beams its light out through the galaxy into the great cosmic sun. The seed sun that spins in the center of our universe. So brilliant antenna that you are, conducting light from our earth through each other to our sun, to the centralized universal cosmic sun. Allow your breath to be the pulsation, the rhythm that both receives and conducts that light. In a moment, I'm going to ask that you take this whole great, beautiful, interconnected, interstellar, intergalactic matrix of light, planets, suns, earth, and collapse it down into a seed that you can place inside your own heart. As you inhale, that matrix expands. And as you exhale, it shrinks all the way down and enters the core of your heart. Hold our planet, hold our solar system, hold our galaxy, our universe, our light in your own heart. We'll finish with the practice of a mudra. The mudra is called sankalpa. Sankalpa means to construct. And in the practicing of the mudra, we both construct our vision and imprint our vision on the fabric of the universe, and we open ourselves up to be imprinted upon by the intelligence that is broadcast to us from the far reaches of our cosmos. For Sankalpa, your left arm will go across your body, so the back of your left hand rests on the top of your right thigh, and your right hand will cover your left hand. So you'll hold your hands. And the symbology of the mudra suggests that by covering our heart, we can create a sort of cave for the potency of our heart to insulate and hold and build. And with a slight tuck of our chin, a lift through our sternum, we can drop our awareness down into the cave of our heart, which holds our sun, our light, our planet, and imprint our vision. So now's the time. We'll take a few minutes that you can imprint upon our earth and our hearts and our shared collective reality, the vision that you hold, a vision of health, a vision of wellness, kindness, love, a vision of harmony, a vision of peace, a vision that is rich with creative energy, collaboration, a vision of abundance, where all people everywhere are given equal opportunity to thrive. See that world in your mind, in your heart. And know that through the power and potency of your heart combined with those all around the world, our vision can be made manifest as we leverage the power that we contain within ourselves, that we receive from benevolent forces in our universe, and that we project into this shared, brilliant dream that we call our reality. If you were to collapse that whole vision down into a single word, a bij mantra, a seed mantra, perhaps asking the question, what frequency need I continue to emit if I am to help upgrade our current paradigm into this new, awakened, ascended reality? What's that word? Is it love? Is it trust? Is it peace? Is it play? Whatever the first word is that comes to mind. You can release Sankalpa Mudra, rest the backs of your hands on your thighs. Together, let's take a deep breath in through our nose and out through your mouth. While we're in this state, before we open our eyes, let's take a moment to acknowledge the well-being that already does exist in your life, in our lives, on our planet, and in our solar system. The planet continues to spin in perfect proximity to other planets. Our sun continues to rise and set and bring life to the life on our planet. And while we may be in isolation from one another physically, we remain interconnected through our hearts through our technology, through our desire to continue to co-create and collaborate and upgrade our shared reality. Start to transition our awareness back into our physical environment. And I'll invite you for a couple of minutes, just since we've been sitting for a time, to lie on your back and just let your body completely rest. And you can transition onto your back with your eyes closed if you wish. You can softly open your eyes and lie back, place something over your eyes, just a brief shavasana. I've done a lot of installation and receiving, and it's nice to give ourselves time to let that integrate. And while you rest, I'm going to offer to you guys a chant, a mantra that is dedicated to Ganesh, or Ganapati, who's been looking down over me on the wall this whole time. And Ganesh is often seen as the remover of obstacles, of obstruction. He's also the deity of thresholds and new beginnings. So as we make this collective shift into a new beginning, we can send our gratitude, our blessing, our prayer to that Ganesh energy. Whether you subscribe to the existence of a Ganesh, really that energy lives in all of us, our capacity to start anew, to refresh, to reset, as Flavia said, and to our planet's capacity to do the same. So rest for a few minutes and enjoy. Ganesha, Sharanam Ganesha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namah. Ganesha, Sharanam Ganesha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namah. Om Dramon Guru Dataya Namah, Om Manmantaya Namah. Om Dramon Guru Dataya Namah, Om Hare Om, Hare Om. Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namah. Oh Ganesha Sharanam Ganesha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namah. Om Dramon Guru Dataya Namah, Om Manmantaya Namah. Om Dramon Guru Dataya Namah, Om Hare Om. Om Parama Prema Rupaya Namah, Om Parama Prema, Om Parama Prema Rupaya Namah, Om Hare Om, Hare Om. Ganesha, Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Oh Ganesha, Sharanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Dram Om Guru Dataya Nama Om Manumataya Nama. Om Dram Om Guru Dataya Nama Hare Om Hare Om Om Hare Om Hare Om. Begin to deepen your breath. And Shavasana pose, corpse, is symbolic of new beginnings. To the extent that we can let the old die, we can emerge anew. So as you awaken yourself from Shavasana, stretch your way back into your body and back into our new paradigm. Bring yourself upright to a seated position. And I thought we could finish by chanting the sound Om 3 times. And I believe I have it pulled up here. I have the exact resonance, the exact frequency, the Schumann resonance, 7.83 hertz, pulled up. And I'll offer the sound frequency. And we can chant it together. Just take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth if you wish. You can join your palms together. Inhale. Again. Once more. Lift your heart and bow your head. Offer to yourself, please, your sincere appreciation and acknowledgement of your willingness to participate in this process of conscious evolution and collective upgrading. There are those on the front lines doing that work, and we offer our appreciation to them. And there are those of us, not behind the scenes, but offering our vision into the fabrics of our reality, which we do through these subtler but profound practices of envisioning, of cultivation, of intention, and of connection. So we are all in this together. Thank you guys for joining me. Peace and love. You can lift your head and open your eyes. Okay. So my immediate reality looks much the same as when I last checked in, but we'll see what we discover in the coming days, weeks, months. I have nowhere to be, so I can kind of hang out and chat with you guys for a bit. Jellyfish lights pulsing together. Beautiful. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining and tuning in. Please feel free to share any of your reflections from the meditation. If you've never seen me before, if you don't know who I am, my name is Rocky. I'm a yoga teacher and a musician, and I lead sessions similar to this every morning, actually, Monday through Friday here on my Instagram Live from 9 to 10 a.m. Pacific time. Oh my gosh. Glad you didn't float away. We need you. You're most welcome. Thanks a lot. So definitely come back on Monday morning if you're around, and we can continue this. You know, this is a potent time for meditation, but if you were not able to catch the whole thing, or if you're just tuning in now, or if you missed it, I'm going to share the recording of this. If you go to my link tree after I finish this, there's a link there where you can opt in for my Rise and Shine morning session. So I'll include this session in. So if you want to do the meditation again, you know, whether you're doing it by yourself, whether you're doing it with each other, whether you did it just now, you are through this. You know, this isn't something that is sort of a one-shot deal. We need to continuously, all of our practices are continuous practices, right? Like you don't just brush your teeth really, really hard one day because you got the best toothbrush and the best toothpaste, like great opportunity. You got to do it again and again and again. There's many different timelines in which we can kind of fork and expand, and that we can ensure that the timeline that we're on is one that is in the highest good of all concerned. Repetition and continuous practice, what's called abhyasa, is key. Okay, I'm going to share with you guys one last thing here. I recently got this deck. It's like my new favorite thing. I'm starting each day pulling a card. It's called the Animal Spirit Guidebook, and I pulled a card before this, and it's a card I'd never seen before, and it was quite fitting. It's called the Cosmic Egg. And I was flipping through the book looking for it, and it's actually the very last card in this deck. So I'll read you briefly what it says here. So the Cosmic Egg is about completion, harmony, and the infinite within the finite. This card. It says the Cosmic Egg is the final card in the journey of this deck, and it represents the unfolding of cosmic consciousness. This state emerges after we have tread the path for quite some time, and through self-effort and grace, we experience self-realization. A sense of contentment and oneness spontaneously arises within us, and the veils of our self-limiting beliefs are lifted. When the essence of the Cosmic Egg has not been activated, we may feel as if we will never, quote, get there, or that we travel alone, disconnected from others. Even if our encounter with this card is brief, appearing as a momentary glimmer or flash of interconnectedness, its potent energy stays with us. The Cosmic Egg is a remedy for the fragmentation of modern life. It's through the power of this card that we're reminded of the cosmic contract written at the beginning. We hold on to life, and life holds on to us. She is. The journey is complete, but it does not end. The Cosmic Egg corresponds with the seventh chakra, or what's called Sahasrara chakra, the crown of the head. It says the subtle essence of the Cosmic Egg resides at the crown chakra, the top of the head. One of the aims of yoga and meditation practice is to channel energy from the base of the spine upward towards Sahasrara. Each of the 6 lower chakras plays an important role in this journey, and once the final epicenter of consciousness is activated, it's said to radiate the light of 1,000,000 suns. So, there you go. It us, it you, it me, it we. Cosmic Egg for the win. My favorite card. Woot woot. Yes. One of these days I'll bring I have a pet snake who continues to remind me of these vibrant and illustrative energies. So one day she'll make an appearance. Let's see. Before I sign off, I know Flavia cut you short beforehand. If there's anything else that you want to hop on and share, I'm always happy to go live with you, girl. You know. You're the livest. This deck is called Animal Spirit. It's by Kim Kranz. Yes, I will. I'll post it on my story. Okay. I'm gonna say hey to my girl. Tonight was Cobra for me. Be a student to my external guides. Yeah. Thanks for joining, Mom.
I mean, wow.
Oh my God.
Can you see how different I am now?
I know. Did you get upgraded?
New dimension, who it is?
I've been like dying for you to let me upgrade you for.
Power play, because wow.
Did Axel join you?
Yeah, he's been doing this though. He's like, finally, you guys.
Yeah, he's like, where you been? Where you been at?
He's like, idiots. Not you guys, sorry.
No.
Just me.
The other live stream.
Yeah, the other people who are watching the other live stream.
Anything else you want to share with us about these times?
Okay, first of all, I would really like to share your sentiments on acknowledging the people who are working during this time.
Yeah.
Healthcare workers, people who are working in grocery stores and gas stations. Huge thank you. You're the real GOAT. You should get hazard pay. You should get bonuses.
If you're using Instacart to get your groceries, tip those folks because they're getting, well, we won't go into it, but.
Yeah, tip and just, just hold space for them and gratitude for them because, yeah, they're really in the front lines, on the front lines of this. And
who knew? Like, who knew working at a grocery store would put you on the front lines?
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, but if you want to talk more astrology or numerology, like I was saying, Jupiter conjunct Pluto today in Capricorn, and that's all touching on structure and karma and rebuilding, which is, I feel absolutely resonating with what's going on in this world today. So yeah, just a huge shifting in consciousness and a new earth. And since we've never been here before, we are given the gift to rebuild our new earth, but it's up to us to envision how we want our new earth to look. It's all up to us to make that happen. It could easily go back to the way it was before, where, evil runs rampant and there's a lot of injustice and inequality. So it's up to us to be the first people to show love and to show kindness in order to push forward, push through this darkness into light. So that's a huge theme during this time, is just to spend time with yourself and love yourself first and foremost. Everyone watching, there are 35 people watching right now. Give yourself a hug. Everyone, give yourself a hug. And then give whoever you can a hug. Yeah. And I'm hugging you in my mind.
Here we go.
Oh, it's happening.
Wait,
oh
heart hug, other side. I'm just gonna assume that Axel just shut off the live stream.
It was just too much. Instagram was like, shut it down. It's too much.
That's what happens when you heart hug through the gram.
They were like, hard hugging through the gram? No. Shut it down. I felt it though. You know what I also realized? To the people who are watching and don't know, I live right downstairs from Rocky.
Exactly. I'm pointing at Flavia right now.
And I'm directly underneath him because I know we're in the same location in our living room. So stop. That's not a door. Go around.
We just
But
thud. I just thud around and she hits her broomstick. Feeling.
yeah, my witch broomstick.
Well, I'll leave it at this, and you kind of alluded to it, but without going too deep down the rabbit hole, I've heard
That's
different
great.
information shared over the years about this sort of collective upgrade that's been somewhat prophesized at this time into what some have called the new Earth, the fifth dimension, the kind of upgraded timeline, whatever you want to call it, and what I've heard when sort of inquired about is like what's it going to look like, who gets upgraded, who ascends, what happens to the folks that don't. It's like,
Right.
you know, you can't imagine it. When it happens, you'll know. And as with most things that occur collectively, it often occurs in the way that we can all sort of experience it, or relative to kind of where our belief or current level of perspective is. The protocol that seems to be the common theme for those that are interested in upgrading into the new paradigm is simple but profound. And what I've heard, I'm referencing Dolores Cannon, which actually you introduced me to her. But but for those interested in her work, there's a lot to dive into there. But what she said is that what she's received and what she's been told is that if you are interested in going into the new paradigm, you must release fear and you must release resentment. So it's the releasing of fear and the act of forgiveness that primes your bioelectromagnetic field to receive the necessary light and information and installation of the information that will bring you there. So
Yes.
I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how it's going to unfold, but I do believe that if we continue to stay vigilant in this work, in this process of claiming our power, and releasing that which holds us in lower frequencies, you know, however justified it may be. Like I feel plenty justified in the things that scare me, and in the people who have, you know, wronged me or that I've seen do wrong to others. But I also know that those frequencies bog me down and keep me from being the light being that I know that I'm here to be.
Yes.
So
It's all up to us to form the future. It's all up to how we envision it and how we hold space. And love and forgiveness is a huge part of that.
yeah.
Definitely letting go. Holding a grudge is like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. It's not doing you any good.
And it's all, you know, it's all easier said than done. And to your point too, like we're all, wherever we are in that journey, you can't wave a magic wand and release all of your fears and resentments at once. So, you know, feeling your feelings, giving yourself love and patience and kindness while you're in that process of personal transformation is huge. Someone asked any tips for or resources to help do that. There's lots. I mean, meditation is one. Therapy is great. You know, we're not just limited to the sort of esoteric practices. I will say what's been really huge for me in that endeavor is a process called EFT, which is emotional freedom technique. And the good news is there's tons of free resources online that you can go to YouTube and type in EFT fear, EFT forgiveness, and you'll find videos. Essentially, it's a process of tapping along your body's meridian channels while you use a sort of self-talk to help process and hopefully release stuck or stagnant energies. I'm in the process of learning to be a facilitator of that modality. So hopefully soon I can create those resources for you. But in the meantime, there's lots available already.
Another great thing is to recognize that everyone is doing the best they know how when they know how. So if they knew better, they would do better. That's something that's definitely helped me move forward with forgiveness, especially if anyone has grudges. I know this happened. This is really common to have a grudge against maybe parents, maybe the way you were raised, or family members. If they knew better, they would do better. They were only doing the best they knew how. And so just seeing it from where they're coming from, that's another great tip on helping to forgive and move forward.
And
And acceptance is huge. Sorry.
no, these are all important points. I do also want to say that, in light of the reality that we have been experiencing and witnessing, forgiving doesn't mean that we let people off the hook when they need to be held accountable. And there are a lot of forces at play right now that have been in power for some time and are currently in power that I do believe need to be held accountable. And that can be done from a place not of fear, but from a place of deep love and compassion for those that need our voices as advocates for them. So love doesn't always, love and peace doesn't always look like love and peace. Sometimes it can look like activism, and it can look like
well said. Yeah.
It can look tough, and it can look messy. But I think if we continue to come from that place, we can continue to enact the changes that we need to see, both, in the subtle dimensions, which we do through our meditation, which ultimately become manifest, but also through our action. It's not one or the other. It took me a long time to realize that it's both, right? And that our thoughts are manifestations, and our thoughts can lead to the manifestation of our actions.
Yes, I love that. Very well.
I'm gonna peace on out. Thank you so much for joining and sharing your.
Thank you for having me. I loved it. It was wonderful.
Beautiful. Well, we'll just keep talking all night long, but
not online.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. Again, feel free to join me every morning, Monday through Friday, where I lead meditation and movement and whatnot. And keep in touch and stay safe, stay healthy, and stay empowered. Lots of love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Bye.
Bye.